Tonight on Sportsnet 1, it's off to newly repaired Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida, historically unkind to the Toronto Blue Jays. Eric Lauer will get the start in game one, and we'll take you to the broadcast booth for the men who will call this game, Ben Schulman and Joe Siddall.
Jamie, you could turn the clock back a couple of years because the Blue Jays are taking on the Rays back at the Trop. The Rays are off to another great start. And, Joe, it's all about the pitching once again.
Well, it's always a tough ballpark to play in, but I think what is most difficult about facing the Tampa Bay Rays is they're always based on good pitching. And the Blue Jays are going to see three of their best starters in this series. Nick Martinez will go tonight. He's having a fantastic year. Rasmussen and McClanahan, of course, back from injury. These guys are as good as they get. Now, you may want to say get back into that Rays bullpen, and that has been the case this year, but they've been pitching well lately as well, Ben.
The one counter, though, if you're going to beat the Rays pitching, how about a little bit of power? And that's what the Blue Jays have right in the top third of their order. Kazuma Okamoto has been as tough to pitch to as anyone in this Blue Jays order recently, and he'll try to keep that going as the Blue Jays take on the Rays, Jamie.
Ben Lauer was very good against Boston Wednesday, going 4 1/3, allowed just a solo home run to Wilson Contreras. Nick Martinez, though, my oh my, he has the 6th lowest earned run average in big league baseball right now at 170. So he provides a challenge to the Blue Jays, specifically Okamoto. How do you think Martinez will try and get out one of the hottest hitters in the major leagues right now?
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about the adjustments Okamoto's made, moving a little bit closer to the plate and also moving back in the plate. But he's facing a guy that I believe in Nick Martinez that's going to really try to throw that sinker in, make him uncomfortable. He also has this split change that also dives into righties. It's a rare pitch that you see, the right-on right changeup. He also has the ability to elevate the four-seam fastball. He's done a really good job moving closer, handling balls out over the plate. I believe the Rays try to expose him inside, but Okamoto's got really quick hands. It's going to be a cat and mouse game.
I'd like us to show you a piece of video from earlier today that you referred to as, quote, Tropicana Field specific. This is the kind of preparation teams don't have to do anywhere else but here. Explain what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to find the ball on the roof. I mean, we showed the video on the pregame show of them redoing the roof. You know, they went and decided to make the roof that white color, but Tropicana Field is its own unique place. The fact that they have a white ceiling and the baseball's white, it's a very difficult place to find the baseball at any position. You know, when the ball goes up in the air, there is a little bit of panic that takes place, and this is something you don't really see a lot, especially at the catching position. Them practicing catching fly balls, typically that's something you would see the outfielders do, you know, pretty frequently. But Tropicana Field has always been a difficult place to play. And for as good as they've been in recent history, they just don't draw really well. So it's a place when, you know, as a Blue Jay, early in my career, you know, we didn't have that many people. But then we started having success, and the Rogers Center has been a place where tons of people come out, and you get kind of used to playing in this environment of playing in front of a lot of people and building kind of off that energy in the stands. Tropicana has historically been a place that doesn't draw well. And for as good as they are, it's a place you could kind of go in and, you know, maybe relax a little bit, and they sneak up on you a little bit, even though they've had success, but it's a very difficult place to play.
They may be the most disrespected team in the American League East. They're 21-12, and at the outset of the year, people were talking about who's going to win the division, and usually Tampa Bay's name is never mentioned, and here they are. They're going to provide quite a challenge here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of how they operate. They always kind of fly under the radar, but every year we look in the standings and we find the Rays kind of, you know, above 500 near the top of the division. They just do a tremendous job of figuring out how to win on the margins. They go out and find players like Aranda, and they keep guys like Yandy Diaz, and they just go out and they continue to find guys that, Nick Martinez, we talked about him having one of the best ERAs in the league. He was a guy that, you know, probably wasn't the biggest name starting pitcher on the market, but has been the best starting pitcher free agent signing, and that's just what the Rays do.
The Stanley Cup playoffs are well underway. Somehow, Montreal won a game last night with just 9 shots on goal. They're going to be back in action against Buffalo on Wednesday. Tonight, here is the menu as you have the Flyers and Hurricanes coming up in Game 2. And that'll come your way moments from now if you tune into Hockey Central. And then, of course, there are some other games as well, but the focus for us here on Sportsnet 1, Nick Martinez and the Rays hosting Eric Lauer and the Blue Jays. We hope you enjoy it, and we'll see you throughout.
Blue Jays baseball on Sportsnet. From St. Petersburg, Florida, the Toronto Blue Jays return to Tropicana Field, taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Joe Siddall. Hazel May down on the field as the Blue Jays play at the Trop for the first time since 2024. And speaking of history, little reunion right now for the Blue Jays, as a lot of their players that are not with them due to injury are there. Bowden Francis, you can see right there, Nathan Lucas, it was Barger and Kirk before. Anthony Santander is in the dugout, as a lot of the players at their complex in Dunedin have made the trip over to Tampa.
Taking advantage of their club being down here in Florida, reuniting a little bit. John Schneider getting to see some of the rehabbing players as they embark on this tough 3-game series against the Rays.
The Blue Jays have searched for thump with some of those guys out, and they have gotten it in Kazuma Okamoto, who had a fantastic series against the Minnesota Twins to start this road trip. He'll try to keep that going, but he's going to go up against a tough customer today. One of the most successful starters in the majors so far, Nick Martinez.
Nick Martinez is a 35-year-old veteran of 9 big league seasons. He also went overseas to Japan for 4 seasons. He's been almost a 50-50 starter reliever throughout his big league career. A lot of the bullpen his last 4 years here in Major League Baseball, but he did make a career-high 26 starts last year for Cincinnati of his 40 games pitched. He's a full-time starter now, and he is off to a fantastic start. 6 starts this season. The ERA is under 2, and he's got a fantastic changeup. He's got about 6 different pitches, and we'll see all of them, both the four-seamer, but especially the sinker, cutter, curveball, slider, but keep an eye on that sinking fastball and changeup. That's his best duo that he has to offer.
35-year-old Miami native looks in at Yohendrick Pinango. And here's his first pitch of the day. And Pinango hits it high in the air out to left center. But there's room for Johnny DeLuca. First pitch swinging, and 1 out for Martinez as we get underway at 6:40.
Defensively behind Martinez for the Rays tonight, Chandler Simpson in left, Johnny DeLuca in right, and Ryan Vilade gets the start in right, DeLuca in center rather. On the left side, Junior Caminero and Taylor Walls, Ben Williamson and Jonathan Aranda on the right side, and Nick Fortes does the duties behind the dish.
Kazuma Okamoto up to the plate. He will take low on a sinker, ball 1. That fantastic Minnesota series for Okamoto includes 4 home runs and 7 RBIs in his last 3 games. Leading the team in both home runs and RBIs a month into the season. He gets a 2-0 pitch and hits it sharply foul, third base side.
There is that sinker. He will run that in on right-handers. He'll also use that against left-handers inside. Try to start it inside off the plate and bring it back. Very animated on the mound. He's in perpetual motion.
When he's working in a hitter like that, what can someone like Okamoto do to try and combat that?
Because the sinker is such a big pitch, what you want to try to do is beat him to that spot, catch it out front, and try to drive it in the air. You don't want to get over top of it because you'll pound it right in the ground.
Okamoto takes, and that'll be ball 4, says David Rackley, the home plate umpire today, as Kazuma Okamoto draws a walk. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. up for the first time in the series. Tied for 3rd in the American League in batting average. And he'll take a pitch up and in. One-0 pitch. is grounded foul, 1-1. For Guerrero, the Minnesota series was not his most productive. 3 for 17 in that set, no extra base hits. He did come up with 2 hits in the finale. But what are you seeing with his at-bats?
Well, I think he's going to continue to be pitched tough like that. Fastball, here he comes inside again, and then he gets enough breakers out there. And that's what you have to do against good hitters, is really mix it up. And again, that sinker really running in on his hands and tying him up. He's asking home plate umpire Dave Rackley right now, do you have that on the inside corner? Because it's going to run in off, and that's the tough thing to gauge, whether you swing at it or let it go.
The 1-2 takes a pitch in the dirt. That time the slider from Nick Martinez. Not a pitch he throws all that often.
If Vladdy can continue to have these plate appearances where he's drawing his walks, of course what everyone wants to see is more power, and I think certainly that will come. We've seen it on occasion. Could be by the month. We certainly saw it in the postseason.
Foul tip, strike 3 as Guerrero is underneath that changeup, and there are 2 down.
Well, that wasn't Nick Martinez's best changeup, but it worked. Just the change of speed. And that's the pitch. Vladdy's going to go back and look and say, "Ooh, how did I miss that one?"
With 2 down, Jesus Sanchez up for the Blue Jays. Still Okamoto on first. Pitch called a strike. That was low.
It looked down. Fortes really pulled that up. I'm thinking Sanchez is probably saying it's just a little bit too early for that. Here comes that sinker in. Look at the catcher setup. No, it was a cutter. Fastball.
Always smiling, Jesus Sanchez. He's got the most at-bats. You can see right there, 3 for 15 of any Blue Jay in the lineup against Nick Martinez. George Springer has more, but he's not in the lineup today. And Sanchez rips it through the right side, a base hit. Okamoto around second. He'll get to third easily as Valade sends it back in. And Jesus Sanchez comes up with his 4th career hit off Martinez to make it runners on the corners, 2 outs.
The four-seam fastball cut inside on him the previous pitch, and he came back this time with the cutter, the cut fastball. It's like a mini slider down and in, and he barreled it into right field.
Early traffic for the Blue Jays against Nick Martinez, who has the 3rd lowest ERA in the majors of any pitcher with 30 innings this year. His pitch to Ernie Clement. He's hit foul.
Is that a new look for Ernie? The eye black's definitely new. The mustache looks different.
Mustache is a little more pronounced, I think.
Yeah.
Clement foul, and it's 0-2. Maybe he was watching some old Don Mattingly tapes. I feel like the eye black mustache.
See Ernie out front of that changeup. That's such a good pitch from Nick Martinez, and that's ideally what he wants. Speaking of mustaches,
that's a mustache. 0-2 pitch. And a run-saving block by Fortes. Fortes grades out as well above average in terms of blocking pitches behind home plate.
a lot of sinkers, changeups, and cutters to right-handers from Martinez. He'll just sprinkle in the four-seamer, slider, and curveball. So hitters will zero in on those 3 pitches that he uses the most.
Sanchez off on the pitch, and Clement grounds it to third. Caminero's throw is there in time to end the inning. Blue Jays get a walk and a hit, but leave 2 on, and we'll see Eric Lauer on the mound when we return.
2 tonight on Sportsnet.
Kevin Cash managing the Tampa Bay Rays in his 12th season, a former Toronto Blue Jays catcher, and his race off to a nice start. Their offense often driven by a couple of guys at the top. Junior Caminero is one of the most dangerous power hitters in the game. He's got 9 total home runs on the year, and he will go up against the Blue Jay lefty Eric Lauer, making his 6th start.
Making his 6th start, but it's his 7th game. He pitched behind an opener in one of those. Last time out, he pitched into the 5th inning against the Red Sox, allowed just the 1 run, but did give up a lot of hard hit balls. He came out in that 5th inning after giving up 3 straight singles to load the bases. Braden Fisher came in and got a line drive double play to escape that. But this is an opportunity again, and I feel like we say that every time we see Eric Lauer. Opportunity knocks, especially with some of the struggles that we're hearing about from Jose Barrios in his rehab. So he is fighting for that 5th spot to be a mainstay.
His first pitch is taken for a strike by Chandler Simpson, maybe the peskiest batter in all of baseball. No home runs. He hits the ball on the ground a lot, but he's one of the fastest players in the game. And this time he lines one to center, a base hit.
Well, defensively for the Blue Jays behind Eric Lauer tonight, Yohendrick Pinongo gets the start in left field. Miles Straw gets the start in center with Varsho DHing. Jesus Sanchez in right, and on the infield it's Okamoto, Jimenez, Clement, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Brendan Valenzuela catches Lauer tonight.
Lauer and Valenzuela are going to have to pay attention to Chandler Simpson and really this whole Rays team, but especially Simpson, who has 11 stolen bases, as Caminero takes down an in-ball 1.
Pitch looked like it handcuffed Valenzuela just a bit. You have to throw over on occasion. You have to come and hold, freeze that runner over there, do everything you can so that he doesn't get a great jump.
The tough thing is, while you're focusing on all of that, you're also pitching to the most dangerous hitter in the lineup. Caminero clubbed 45 home runs last year and drove in 110. This one is popped up foul as the fastball at 91 got up on Caminero. 2-1.
And with the left-hander on the mound, that could control the running game a little bit. If Simpson or any other base stealers try to steal a base tonight with the lefty, oftentimes they go first move, so it's a bit of a guess.
Long hold by Lauer. And he missed high and outside, and there he does a good job on Simpson, but the pitch slipped out of the hand.
And that's exactly what can happen with a pitcher is you rush. You come set, you're trying to hold, making sure the runner doesn't get a great jump, and then you rush your delivery to the plate. The arm trails, and he misses up and away.
Check swing, and he did not offer it that one. That'll be ball 4 on a cutter that misses upstairs. So Simpson gets second base anyway, and the first 2 are on for the Rays. Ryan Valade about to bat for the Rays. A guy who is often in their lineup to match up with left-handed pitching. He gets to hit third today in between Caminero and Diaz. And that pitch is drilled out to left field and deep. Going back, Shrine, Pinongo, it's way gone. First of the season for Ryan Valade. And the Rays, before an out is recorded, take a 3-0 lead at the bottom of the first.
Kevin Cash was asked about Ryan Valade this afternoon, and he said he can do some damage against lefties. He plays great defense. He's versatile. And he exemplified exactly what his manager thinks of him with that swing.
That pitch was below the zone, but still in the wheelhouse for Valade. And now Yandy Diaz hits it foul. It's Ryan Valade's second career major league home run. The 0-1 to Diaz, foul tipped. And Lauer gets ahead, no balls, 2 strikes. Lauer trying to settle back in after the first 3 reached and scored for the Rays. 1-2 is grounded foul.
That's the first pitch curveball from Eric Lauer to Valade, and he was ready for it. Down below the zone, but he got down and underneath that ball and got it up in the air. It was a no-doubter.
The Rays are the Rays. You look in their lineup and you're saying, hey, you know, Ryan Valade was in a battle in camp, hasn't played a ton in the big leagues. They're hitting him third today, and then they put him in the right matchup. He makes the right decision. And Kevin Cash's team is up 3-0 as Diaz lifts one out to left field. Piñango over to make the grab. Yandy Diaz retired. It's his first game in 3 days, by the way, after he had a bit of oblique soreness on Friday.
Yeah, we weren't sure if we were going to see him in the lineup tonight or not. Kevin Cash very happy to pencil him back in.
So Lauer gets his first out of the start, and Jonathan Aranda will bat. And he hits it on the ground to the right side. Ernie Clement with a long run, spins and throws it away from Guerrero. Good backup Valenzuela. And Aranda is safe at first.
Well, I think Ernie rushed this just a bit. Jonathan Aranda does not get down the line real well, and I think Ernie had time to settle. He actually threw this baseball. Vladdy wasn't even looking yet. He's so set on getting rid of it quickly. But I think he had another split second to catch this ball, gather himself, and then throw a strike over to Vladdy. It would have given Vladdy an extra second as well.
They'll call it a base hit for Aranda, and now the pitch inside to Johnny DeLuca. That last one not really on Lauer, but for the first 5 have reached for the Rays. With the way that Tampa Bay has pitched of late, more than 3 runs is a difficult thing to come back from. Even 3 for the Rays is difficult to come back from.
And it's the entire pitching staff. The starters have been outstanding, but after a slow start, the bullpen has really cleaned things up as well over the last week or 10 days.
Tampa Bay's won 9 of 10, scoring under 4 runs per game in that stretch. You don't usually go on a run scoring under 4 runs per game. Foul tip by DeLuca makes it 2-2, but they're allowing between a run or 2 per game, closer to a run per game in the last 10.
And it's all about scratching and clawing and just trying to score enough, and that's what Kevin Cash's club has done. They're running a lot, they're trying to steal a lot of bases, putting balls in play. They don't strike out a lot of contact.
Pardon me, it's not that low, but it is 10 games in a row, 3 or fewer runs allowed for the Rays.
That's pitching.
That is pitching. Runner on first and 1 out. Lauer's 2-2. He's on the ground up the middle. Clements over to Jimenez, and that'll be the only play DeLuca can really run. He's maybe a hair slower than Simpson, but that still makes him one of the faster guys in baseball.
And kind of softly hit too. I don't think they were going to get more than 1 there, so Ernie did the right thing. Get the leader, but now be heads up with speed on the bases at first.
DeLuca has swiped 3 bags this year, been caught once. Former Mariner Ben Williamson up. And Lauer's pitch called a strike. One thing for controlling the run game today, and you kind of saw it there from Lauer. John Schneider said maybe you set earlier in the clock, because if you set later in the pitch clock, you don't have as much wiggle room to vary up your timing. Long set here, in the pitch is drilled out to left center field. Racing over Straw will run it down, and that will do it for the bottom of the first. The Rays get a 3-run homer from Ryan Valade and take a 3-0 lead after an inning.
Experience the smart choice in cordless cleaning.
Welcome back to the Trop. Kaz Okamoto drew a walk in his first plate appearance, but he's turning into the hitter the Blue Jays thought he could be. The power isn't just showing up, it's changing ball games. Of course, we've talked at length about the old adjustment period, but what we are seeing is Okamoto's ability to make hard contact and crush home runs. Over his last 15 games, Okamoto has left the ballpark 7 times while driving in 18. That's good enough for top spot among Blue Jays players. Assistant hitting coach Lou Ionati is impressed with how Okamoto has adjusted to the pitcher's varying timing mechanisms. You see, in Japan, the deliveries can be slow with these flowy tempos, and then he comes here and he's seeing pitchers who are short to the plate, all arms and legs, and some that are throwing in the triple digits. So when you take that into consideration, Ben, the offensive numbers are even more striking. Guys.
Certainly. I mean, it gets pretty herky-jerky when you're watching Nick Martinez. And, Joe, I think about Yoshinobu Yamamoto. He's got a very methodical, pronounced windup that's a lot different than most of the major league pitchers that come from North America, as Martinez misses down and away 1-1.
Much more methodical. There's a pace and tempo to it with a lot of pitchers in Japan. And as hitters, it's like when they separate their hands, that's when you start going, or whatever the trigger may be. There's a timing mechanism that you go at a certain point. And when you're facing so many different pitchers with different styles and deliveries, that can be a little trickier. So we've talked all through the month of April about this adjustment period. That's just one of those things that all hitters, but especially somebody like Okamoto, has to figure out. Looks like he's doing a pretty good job of it.
Dalton Varsho leading off the inning for the Blue Jays. He's DHing today. Miles Straw gets the start in center. The 1-2. And it's sliced foul, almost a shift beater right there as they're playing Varsho aggressively to pull.
We see more and more pitchers going down and in with those little breakers on Dalton Varsho, and he's got that little hole down and in, but if you miss that spot, it could end up in the seats.
Foul tip, and he struck him out. It's Martinez's second strikeout of the start.
Just mixing it up, sinker, changeup, cutter, come back, sinker, and then go back up top, and got Dalton to chase.
Blue Jays got first and third on him with 2 outs in the first inning, didn't score. And now his pitch to Straw is ripped out to left field and deep. Simpson back, makes the catch on the warning track. Miles Straw, who hit a long homer in Minnesota, just missed that one, and they're 2 down.
Well, there's a sinker down and in, and he maybe just got it toward the end of the bat a hair.
He's getting the ball up in the air into the pull side a whole lot more than he did last year, or really even other years in his career.
And that's his plan. He has changed his style of hitting. His point is, if you're going to play part-time, you might as well try to get in there and try to do something, do some damage with one of the few swings that you get. And right now, so far, it's working for him. We'll see how it goes throughout the course of the season. Getting the start in center tonight.
1-0 to Andres Gimenez inside. To return to the Trop for the Blue Jays and Andres Gimenez. After the Rays spent a season at George M. Steinbrenner Field in Tampa, Blue Jays were actually the last team here at Tropicana Field in 2024. Gimenez on the ground to Aranda, and he will take it to the bag for a 1-2-3 top of the second. Nick Martinez looking good through 2 frames. 3-0 Rays, middle of the second.
Tomorrow on Sportsnet 1.
The Blue Jays have enjoyed playing at Tropicana Field like Joe enjoyed taking foulbacks into the stomach. It has not been very fun for them over the last 2 decades. Obviously, the Rays have been very successful over that time, but not always in some of the seasons where the Blue Jays have not been able to triumph here. It's just been the quote-unquote house of horrors.
Well, at least I had a chest protector, Ben. The Blue Jays have had no protection. And there are so many different theories. When you talk to people over the years, you know, a lot of the players, coaches, some live down here, the families can be down here. Do you lose that little edge maybe when you come down to Florida for a 3-game series? They generally in the past haven't drawn real well, so is it a quiet environment, hard to be really that motivated? You could look at a number of things. I think still the number one thing for me is that it's a team on the other side that pitches really well, so it's always hard to get much going. But yeah, it's a mystery for sure, and the numbers don't lie. And here we are in this game tonight, and the first 3 batters have scored for the Rays in the first inning.
Although Eric Lauer there gets his first strikeout as he climbs the ladder with a fastball on Nick Fortes.
Well, Eric went right up top right here. The velocity not all that yet, but enough.
Strikeouts are brought to you by Subway. Get 25% off any footlong on game days. Order in the Subway app using the code STRIKEOUT. First pitch to Taylor Walls, called a strike 0-1. Although it has not been kind to the Blue Jays, it is good to see the Rays back at the Trop. Taylor Walls on the ground. Nice play by Lauer. He's got time to throw to Vlad. 2 down.
Well, that is for certain a tough year indeed for everyone, not just the visiting teams, but even for the Rays themselves going down there. The new turf laid down here. We were having a little bit of feel like that today with the groundskeeper explaining to us how the new turf was rolled out. It's the same type of turf that used to be at the old Trop before the renovations were done after the storm.
Pitch to Chandler Simpson, called a strike. It was extensive damage from Hurricane Milton in October 2024. Forced the Rays to play at Steinbrenner Field, but the roof is repaired, new turf. A lot of the other features of the ballpark have been changed as well. One thing, and you might notice this on your screen, you might not, it's a lot brighter in here than it used to be. It's significantly brighter because rather than 2 layers blocking us out from the sky on that roof, it's just 1 layer of roof now, so the sun gets in a little more. 1-1 pitch, grounded to first. Nice play, Guerrero jumping up to take it away and end the inning. Eric Lauer bounces back with a 1-2-3 third, and we'll see if this leap can power the Blue Jays as they try to score when we come back.
Bobblehead, where will you be?
Beyond the baselines, meeting rooms at Rogers Center offer a bold new way to meet and inspire. From executive board meetings to client presentations, there's a space suited for every type of meeting. Visit BlueJays.com/meeting rooms for more info. 3-0 Rays, and the Nick Martinez pitch to Brandon Valenzuela is another pitch that appears to be a low strike.
Wow.
Couple of those so far today. It's 0-1.
Nick Fortes helping his pitcher out. It's a big pitch in the count too.
And a good changeup to make it 0-2. A couple years back, Fortes with Miami was rated out as one of the better framing catchers in the game. You know, and they thought that maybe framing would go away with ABS challenges, but because you're not going to do it every time, it's still very much
absolutely
a part of the game.
Very important.
Valenzuela chops it foul.
Especially with the limited number of challenges. I think if the better receiver you are now, I think it really plays the game, because now as hitters, you have to think if something goes off, well, maybe I won't challenge. He's a really good receiver. Maybe it did catch the corner. I'm sure there's a lot of doubt in hitters with a good receiver back there.
Called strike 3 as Martinez spots it up to the glove with a comeback sinker front door to him.
This is the sinker I was talking about. We're going to see this to left-handed hitters. Look at the catcher's body. It's more toward the middle of the plate, but his glove is set up inside, and that's so that the pitcher is focusing in off the plate at the glove, knowing full well that it may come back just a bit. Good setup by Fortes, and Martinez hit a spot.
Back to the top of the order, Yohendrick Piñango takes a breaking ball for a strike. Piñango swung at the first pitch and flied out to deep center in the first. It's another day for the rookie at the top of the order. And he shoots this one through the left side, just tipped off the glove of Caminero. It'll be a base hit for Piñango, his 7th in 15 major league at-bats.
Well, that's what we have seen from him, a quality at bat, get a pitch in the zone, put a good swing on it. Ball gets a little deep on him and drills it the other way past the third baseman.
Junior Caminero, who said before this year that his main goal was not focused on offense but to win a Gold Glove, did not seem happy that that one got through him. And Okamoto checks his swing, appeal to first, and they say he did go, says Chris Guccione, the crew chief.
Such a good changeup, especially if you're gearing up for the sinker.
I don't believe John Schneider thought he swung at it. Now the 0-1 is popped up, and it will go foul out of play.
Well, Ben, I was watching that foul ball, and then I lost it in the roof. I hope the outfielders didn't, but I hear a reaction from a lot of the fans, and it may have clipped something up there. One of the bands, perhaps.
There are not one, not two, not three, but 4 catwalks that can be hit by a baseball potentially, with different rules pertaining to different catwalks and where they're hit.
And you're ready for them, aren't you?
I am. Okamoto lines one down in center field.
That's not hitting any catwalks.
Pinyango into second as Okamoto's on for the second time, and we go down to Sportsnet's Hazelman.
Ben, John Schneider actually reached out to some teams who played here ahead of the Blue Jays to do a little bit of recon before the series. He said he wanted to get their advance meetings done and over with quickly so everyone had a chance to get out there on the field, take a look at the roof, see how things play. But what hasn't changed is you can't take your eyes off the ball when it goes up in the air. You have to continue to stay on it. Ben.
Yeah, Hazel, Dalton Varsho echoed that. He told me there's just no routine fly balls here because you think it's settling up right over top of you, and then clank, it hits a catwalk, and now you got to sprint in another direction.
And not only that, but the other fielders as well, in case that's what happens to the fielder it's going to. So if it's a routine fly ball to left field, I'm guessing Dalton Varsho is going to keep on coming over to, or Straw today will keep on coming over to help out just in case that left fielder loses it in the roof.
Oh-2 to Guerrero. Does not get the chase high, does Nick Martinez. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Vladdy is 1 for 6 career against Martinez. The 1 is a home run. And he fouls that one off his foot. Doesn't seem any worse for wear, but he pounded that right into himself. 1 and 2.
It's all about game planning, and David Popkins and his staff do what they can. And this is just over a month into the season. It's going to be an evolving thing where you're preparing each individual here for what they might see from that night starting pitcher.
Good block there. Came off the right arm, it seemed, for Fortes, who I think is a little bit shaken up by that one.
And you asked me earlier in Vladdy's first at bat about what I'm seeing, and again, you're seeing so many different pitches. He's seen sinkers, he's seen changeups, he's seen the four-seam fastball, the cutter, the slider, and that's what you have to do to good hitters, is really mix it up, and they're certainly doing that early on in just his second at bat.
Martinez, a guy who routinely uses 6 pitches anyway. This lends itself to his strategy. 2-2 is lined and down in left field. Pinyango got a good jump. He'll get the wave. The throw from Simpson goes into third. RBI single. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who went way down there to knock in the Blue Jays' first run of the game.
Well, nobody cares how you hit them as long as they cash runs in. This pitch is way down and away, and he just gets the barrel and he just flips it almost with one hand. Literally got one hand on the bat when he made contact.
He, a lot of the time in his career, has been a pretty disciplined hitter. That was more of his dad kind of swing, getting way out there to rip something into left field. And now pitching coach Kyle Snyder is out there.
Have to be able to laugh about that one.
Well, if you're Kyle Snyder, I'm sure you're not telling Nick Martinez that was a bad pitch. That was way below the zone.
No, this could just be one of those meetings to say he knows that this can be a dangerous hitter at the plate. Unfortunately, with Sanchez, he's been swinging the bat well, but a lot of singles. He hasn't necessarily tapped into that power, and I think they certainly know that the power is potentially there, so they don't want to get beat with one swing of the bat with this 2-run lead that they're nursing.
Sanchez singled through the right side in the first inning. Okamoto on second, Guerrero on first. And the pitch up and in.
And that might tell me right away that that's how they're going to pitch him. We've seen a lot of the lefties in this Blue Jays lineup pitch like that, including Sanchez. That ball he hit was a little cutter slider down and in that first at bat. I don't think you'll see another one of those.
He hits it on the ground to second. Up with it, Williamson to second for one. Toss to first, not in time. Sanchez beats it out for a fielder's choice. Safe at third base, Okamoto. Runners in the corners with 2 outs.
I was keeping an eye at second base here. Quick turn, but it looked like he just maybe held on to that bag. But that's a pretty good sequence of pitches right there by Martinez. The hard fastball in, and then he went soft away with that changeup. Got him way out front.
Blue Jays went to the phone, and John Schneider decided not to challenge. So for the second time in this game, Ernie Clement will hit with runners on first and third and 2 outs. And Clement lines one, caught at short by Taylor Walls. Blue Jays pick up a run on 3 hits. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. gets them on the board, pulling out the sandwich to come up with this RBI single, and it's 3-1 Rays, middle of the third. At only 22 years old, Junior Caminero is quickly becoming one of the most feared hitters in baseball, with already 9 home runs on the season, Joe.
I think this is the type of guy, again, we talked about Vladdy mixing pitches. Eric Lauer is going to have to do the same thing. Slow things up, speed them up, move the ball in and out. And when he can do that kind of damage to a fastball with that bat speed, I think there's only one thing to do, and that's try to slow things down. Try to get him off of that speed. Maybe it's a changeup down and away. Maybe it's a cutter up and in to get him off the plate. That's where pitching and pitch sequencing is so important, because that is a dangerous man sitting atop that leaderboard.
Show Caminero and Guerrero together. They both played for the Dominican Republic in the 2026 World Baseball Classic, where Caminero hit 3 home runs, including a homer off Paul Skeens in the semifinal against the United States.
There's that first pitch in there, trying to cut it up and in there. And again, when you do that, you've got to make sure you get it in there. If you're going to miss, it's got to miss in off the plate.
0-1 pitch is on the ground to short. Stopped bouncing, but Jimenez stays with it. And there's 1 out. We talked to the grounds crew that the turf, it's not fully broken in yet here, because they're only about 30 games in, and that one I think hit the lip of the turf and just stopped hopping.
And there it is right there for that sequence. So cutter up to start the at bat, and he comes back with that backdoor breaking ball, much slower and away from the powerful hitter, and he gets a weak roll over to short. That's just a great sequence right there by Lauer, despite flirting with a little fire with that first pitch cutter.
Here's Ryan Valade, who hit the 3-run homer in the first. He'll take a strike. A second rounder by the Rockies in 2017 out of high school in Oklahoma. He comes from a baseball family. His dad coached in the minor leagues and coached at Oklahoma State University. But for Valade, he's really getting his first real crack at big league playing time this year. He had a little bit of time with the Rockies, the Tigers, the Cardinals, the Reds, and now the Rays, but he's played already 19 games this year, more than any other season he's played in the big leagues.
27 years old, trying to really find himself a home here.
Check swing, and it looked for a second like David Rackley might call strike 3, but it's 1-2.
A little flinch there, maybe. Wonder if Valenzuela was thinking of challenging that one.
It's right on the borderline. The 1-2. Valenzuela seemed to like the location, nodding there at the sliders. They buried it near Valade's back foot. Just missed outside that time with a changeup. Some pretty good takes from Ryan Valade. Payoff pitch. And Valade launches another. This one out deep to left. Back Nyong'o on the track to make the catch. And Valade, who entered today with one career major league home run, almost hit his second in 3 innings.
Well, he's flirting with some fire with some of these locations of the pitches. He left some balls in the middle of the plate in that at bat, including that four-seam fastball. Yeah, see, he's kicking himself right there, knowing he's got to make better pitches. Danger zone to a guy that already burned him once.
Yandy Diaz in the air to right field. Moving back, Sanchez now moves to the line to make the grab and end the inning. Well, Eric Lauer has retired the last 7 he's faced, and it's 3-1 Rays after 3.
Flex bobblehead.
Mitch Marner and the Golden Knights kick off their second round series against the Ducks tonight. Coverage begins at 9:50 Eastern on Sportsnet and Sportsnet 360. Not too far from here, where the Montreal Canadiens wrapped up their series victory over the Tampa Bay Lightning. Blue Jays taking on the Tampa Bay Rays, and Dalton Varsho will lead it off. Varsho smacks it on the ground, but right at Ben Williamson. His toss to first and a quick out for Martinez. Blue Jays have had more hits, the lion's share of the traffic, but Martinez has managed to limit the damage so far. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. driving in the lone run for the Blue Jays so far today. His 16th RBI of the year. Miles Straw taking that one all the way, something he didn't like on that pitch. 0-1.
Martinez running those sinkers in on these right-handed batters, then he'll go away with the cutter, slider, changeup.
And really, I'm not sure the Rays thought Nick Martinez would have their best earned run average of any of their starters through a month. But they did bring him in. They don't make a ton of large free agent commitments typically. And he's been as productive as anyone. He's been more productive than any of the other pitchers so far.
Well, this is a team that's consistently in the bottom third of the payrolls. They did bring in Steven Matz on a 2-year deal for $15 million. But this was some pitching depth, and so far it's paying off.
Straw gets it off the handle, backing up the shortstop Walls. 2 down. At the same time, it's not like this came out of nowhere. Martinez has had some really solid seasons. Even last year, he was 3 outs shy of a no-hitter when he was pitching for the Reds against the Padres in June.
Had 3 good years after coming back from Japan. Last year, the ERA was up around 4.5. Still not horrible. Back into the rotation type of pitcher, but off to a fantastic start here in a place that certainly values that starting pitching.
A wide strike to get ahead 0-1 for Martinez, and then Mark Budzinski with some athleticism getting out of the way of the ground ball.
Well, we talk about the new rules in the game this season, where Major League Baseball is harping on the base coaches being near their coaches' boxes. So many coaches were sneaking down the third and first base lines to get better looks at pitchers, maybe see grips on pitches and all. So now they've got to be close to that box, and it's a danger zone. The furthest part of that box is just 90 feet from home plate.
You can move back toward the dugout fence, but in terms of outside of that bracket, you can't go anywhere. As Jimenez flips one into center, and he's aboard with 2 outs.
Well, this is what you have to do with the changeup from Nick Martinez. Stay on it, and he really uses his legs to go down and get this baseball. That helps the barrel stay through the zone a long time. If you stay upright, come around it, that's a weak roller to the right side. Nice swing that time by Jimenez.
5th Blue Jay hit to 3 for the Rays so far. It's interesting talking to Brandon Valenzuela today, who's had a very nice week to 10 days, clubbed a couple of homers to get up to 3 on the year. He told me one thing for him, really trying to keep his head a bit more still and just his body back. The coaches said he was lunging forward a bit. That pitch is called the strike. And they just told him he's got enough behind his swing already. He doesn't really need to get out there to hit it hard. If he waits on it, he could still hit home runs.
And you'll see his front leg, the stride, like it's not going to do a whole lot, as opposed to a bit of a leg kick to try to help a hitter initiate a swing. You'll see that front leg stay rather stationary, just kind of tucks to try to initiate the hips to get him going, but not the leg kick that we saw in the past.
At 6 foot, 225 pounds. He's got a lot to put into that baseball. And he hits this one hard down the left field line, racing over Simpson with speed to get it in the corner and end the inning. 2-out hit for Andres Jimenez. The Blue Jays still down a pair of runs, middle of the 4th inning.
Welcome back. Jose Barrios expected to be here at the Trop either tonight or tomorrow. And John Schneider and Pete Walker plan on having a conversation with Barrios regarding next steps in his rehab. Now, Barrios labored again Sunday, a second straight rough outing where he allowed 7 earned runs over 3 2/3 innings. The velocity was down again, guys, averaging 90.1 miles per hour. We should point out temperatures didn't help Barrios out. They were hovering around 10 degrees Celsius. Now, Barrios' struggles, Ben, could open the door, as Joe mentioned earlier, to hanging on to a coveted rotation spot. But Lauer still has to get the job done, guys.
Certainly does. He's retired 7 in a row, has Eric Lauer. Positive pitching note. We did learn today that Jimmy Garcia will make his first rehab outing in the Florida Complex League coming up on Friday. Obviously, a big part of their bullpen went healthy over the last couple of seasons. Eric Lauer's first pitch to Aranda, and he did go around 0-1. But Joe, you tell me, more concerning the result for Barrios, or is it more the velocity and the stuff related part of it?
I think it's all of the above, Ben. I didn't like to see that the velocity is still down. Again, you're coming back from an injury. You want to see that start spiking up a little bit. Not to mention the quality of the outing in general, giving up some home runs, and that wasn't good news when I heard that. And it's just going to be a while longer. He's got to pitch another game, obviously. He's not coming here for his next start. So that's up to Eric Lauer. And I think, too, with what Lauer can try to fill this spot, if you will. Now, they do have a day off coming up Thursday after this series, before the next series. So if need be, maybe Kevin Gausman comes back from his Tuesday start and pitches Sunday against the Angels, and you skip that 5th spot. But those are the things, the decisions that are going to be ahead of them.
1-2 pitch to Aranda outside. It is definitely possible, although I know they've said at times early in the year they don't want to take some of those off days away. It's not the first 2 weeks of the year, but they got veteran starters.
Yeah, and Kevin Gausman has, the strikeouts have been coming down since those first couple of starts. The velocity's been down on a few occasions, so I don't know that there's concern there, but I think those are things you have to consider when you're, you'd like to have that extra day, that day off in the schedule. That's supposed to be an extra day for all of the starters, but now you start skipping your 5th starter. So it's up to Eric Lauer to hopefully try to continue to get a little deeper here, go 5 at least, get through the batting order a couple of times plus.
Strikes out Jonathan Aranda, his 2nd strikeout so far.
Been one of those years for Eric Lauer where the stuff just hasn't quite been there yet. That's a good fastball running in on him, and it just beats him. But he had his illness, and he had a bunch of different issues. He's been back and forth. We know he wasn't pleased with having an opener pitch in front of him, but now it's up to him. It's being handed to him to say, hey, you go pitch, Rowland, and you're at fifth starter right now. That's the way I see it, and I'm sure that's the way he sees it on the mound right now. It's a competition.
It's 0-1 to Johnny DeLuca. For Lauer today, the fastball has sat about 90 miles an hour, which for this year for him is around middle of the pack. He's had some outings where he's a little more 91, some where he's more 89.
So that changeup just gets away from him a little bit. For the most part, he's been pretty good at staying with that four-seamer away, up and away, using the cutter across the top of the zone, mixing in that changeup. He wants to be more unpredictable like this. Well done.
On the ground to second, off the glove of Clement, and DeLuca's got too much speed. He's safe. That'll end a run of 8 straight retired by Eric Lauer.
Well, it's the second little misplay from Ernie Clement here tonight, and I was just talking through this. Lauer just made a great pitch, and Ernie just can't come up with the baseball. And you see this right here. He's just flipping the ball back to Lauer, and I think that's just expressing his frustration. Ernie Clement does not misplay balls the way we have been seeing this.
You ready for this, Joe? That's a single.
That's not a single. I bet if you ask Ernie Clement right now, should we give you an error for that, or is that a single? He would take that error in a second because he knows it's a play he should make with medium effort.
Line drive to center field. Strauch coming in, will play it on a hop. On to second goes Johnny DeLuca. Ben Williamson safe at first. And technically back-to-back hits.
Well, this is where Eric is going to have to dig deep and play above the defense. We said with this Rays team, they put so many balls in play that they're going to force you to play good defense. And we've seen the Blue Jays lapse in that department in recent times. You cannot give teams like this extra outs when they're constantly putting balls in play.
Line drive out to left. Piñango was right there. Was hit right at him, and they're 2 down.
The little breaking ball. Look where that nestled in, right in the middle of the plate. Lauer got away with one there, hitting it right to the left fielder. Remember that first pitch curveball that went for the home run by Ryan Vilade. It wasn't a bad pitch, but you can't just flip those things in there.
First pitch strike to Taylor Walls. Number 9 hitter. Went to the changeup and got more on top of that one. A couple of the changeups had missed up.
That's a good adjustment right there. And you know, you're not looking for 7 shutout innings from your 5th starter. I mean, if he can keep this at 3, go 5 innings and 3, it's not great, it's not otherworldly, but you can't expect too much more from your 5th starter if that's the role that he's going to be in. Now, Patrick Corbin, he's going to have to continue doing what he's doing.
Long run for Jesus Sanchez toward the Rays bullpen. And he'll turn it back 1-2.
As long as seeing as the top 3 in the rotation, you can handle what Corbin and Lauer are offering, because those are the days you know that you may need some more bullpen. But these guys also, like Dylan last time out, you've got to be able to go a little deeper. He was able to go 7 against the Twins. That helps the bullpen. You might save an inning, you might save 2 for those guys in the back end of the rotation.
Pop up back of the shortstop. Piñango is moving into left center. Late adjustment, and he makes the grab. Couple of hits technically, but it's still 3-1.
Casino. Make it legendary.
Now's the time to become a 50/50 subscriber. You'll be automatically entered into every draw this season, plus enjoy exclusive perks while supporting kids in your community. Thousands of fans have already signed up. Visit bluejays.com/5050 today. Tropicana Field, home of the Rays.
Would you go pet that?
Pet the Rays? 100%. 100%. Have you pet one before?
100%. I would not.
You got good hand-eye. You play professional baseball. Just don't touch the stinger part. Although I think the rays in those tanks can't sting you. I hope.
I have no
usually
problem.
Usually they stop them from being able to do that.
I have no problem standing watching them. I love that. I love the marine life.
I pet some rays in spring training.
I do enjoy like snorkeling though. But I don't pet the fish.
But from afar. Yeah, you like being on the top.
You get pretty close, but yeah, from up top, yes. I'm not going to scuba dive either. I'm not going down there. Tank or no tank.
Nick Martinez to Yohendrick Pinango, and the pitches hit foul, 1-2. That is a staple of Tropicana Field, which actually opened before the Rays were a team in 1990, and now is back in service again.
Getting some good pictures.
One-two pitch. Lifted out to left center field, and the speedy Chandler Simpson makes the catch. Simpson spent a lot of his spring training working with a familiar face. Kevin Kiermaier was in race camp, helping him with his routes and jumps, and a little bit with his plays at the wall as well.
Pretty good guy to have helping you out, that's for certain. Kevin roamed center field here for a long time. When we first got to know Kevin, right?
Oh, yeah. Kazuma Okamoto with a swing and a miss. Okamoto has a hit and a walk so far. And that's a foul ball, but he is on so many pitches right now, Joe. He smoked that changeup.
Yes, he was. And I think, too, when he talked about some of the adjustments, we've talked about it a lot in the batter's box now, but he's just in a really good spot where he's given himself time now to make his moves with that little leg kick and the cocking of the bat.
Strikes out there, though, as Martinez elevates the sinker. Onto the roof at Tropicana Field as Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hits it foul, third base side. And it's 0-1.
Very close.
Really close. Guess it just didn't go over the bat.
Glad he's getting out in front of that slower curveball.
They work him in again, and it's 0-2. Blue Jays bullpen is starting to work for the first time today as Spencer Miles gets up. Eric Lauer has faced the Rays order exactly twice through. 57 pitches.
2 times through. You may get Chandler Simpson, and that's all.
One-two pitch. Perhaps they could go batter to batter as well with Lauer. Technically 2 hits last inning, but for the most part since the first, not a lot going on for the Rays.
I think with Junior Caminero in that 2 spot, I do not see Eric Lauer facing him. We shall see.
Guerrero limboing back out of the way of the sinker. 3-2.
What started out a 3-0 ball game after 3 Rays hitters hit looked like it could have been an ugly night for Eric Lauer, but he's really kept his team in the game here. So I don't think John Schneider and Pete Walker are going to play around a whole lot. Some hard hit balls tonight. Keep this a 2-run game and you still got a shot. Plenty of baseball left.
Guerrero high in the air, foul third base side. Fortes conversion with Caminero, and that does it for the top of the 5th. Martinez gets the Blue Jays in order to keep it 3-1 Rays. Time now for an update with Jamie Campbell.
All right, Ben, here's the in-game tracker brought to you by Bet365.
Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs start their second-round series tonight against Anthony Edwards and the T-Wolves. That's coming up later tonight here on Sportsnet 1. Blue Jays in St. Petersburg, Florida, taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. It's the first of 3 games in the series, and Eric Lauer, third time through the order, takes on Chandler Simpson. Starts him with a curve.
Thought this might be one of those opportunities where Simpson might try to take a bunt with him past the left-handed pitcher to the right side, but that's why it's big to throw strike 1.
Now a swing and a miss on a tighter slider, 0-2. Oh-2 pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Rays thinking about getting into their bullpen as well as Ian Seymour warms up, a guy who can pitch multiple innings. Grounder to second base, Ernie Clement to first. 1 out. And you had said it, Joe. Third time through for Junior Caminero. And that will be it for Eric Lauer, who, after allowing 3 runs to the first 3 batters, does not allow another run to come in and keeps the Blue Jays in it, going 4 1/3. He'll hand it off with Spencer Miles set to enter for the Blue Jays. 3-1 Rays, 1 out, bottom of the 5th. Back in a flash.
Yeah, Wi-Fi just pouring out of that thing.
Celebrate Mother's Day with Junior Jay's Mother's Day, presented by Ontario Honda Dealers. This Sunday, it's a special edition of Junior Jay's Sunday with experiences designed just for mom across the ballpark. Visit bluejays.com/promotions for tickets. Spencer Miles into the ball game for the Blue Jays. 1 out, base is empty, and the pitch to Junior Caminero.
Another scoreless inning for Spencer on Saturday in Minnesota. The Blue Jays 11-7 win, certainly holding his own and then some here in his first year as a big leaguer.
Komodo will make it 2 down.
Well, here's an outstanding curveball from Spencer Miles. This is a very good hitter at the plate, but this is just a look at some of what his stuff does. A sharp breaking pitch down and away. He's got both the 4-seam fastball and the 2-seam fastball, the sinker, in the mid-90s. We've seen him at 96, 97 at times, and he's also got a wipeout slider, so the stuff is unquestionably there.
Familiar face to a lot of Blue Jays fans. He has switched AL East rivals. Tampa Bay Ray outfielder Cedric Mullins pinch hitting in the spot of Ryan Villet. It's been a tough start to the season for Mullins, who does have the lowest qualified on base plus slugging in baseball at .415, but also a guy who has hurt the Blue Jays many times going back to his time with the Orioles.
That's why you have to go right to your catcher. Good direction here, right down the middle with your heater. Wow. Didn't quite have the feel release point on the fastball, so he went to the breaking ball. Sometimes that'll help you get that release point back out front. We'll see if he doesn't go back to that or let it rip again.
Back to the breaking ball, and it's a called strike to make it 2-2.
He's got a pretty good feel for that pitch. Guess what Cedric's getting? Another one.
If you're Mullins, you're thinking you work yourself to a 2-0 count.
Right.
Gonna get something to hit. Instead, it's a couple of spinners.
Spencer has a lot of confidence throwing any of his pitches.
Is 2-2. Fastball. Checked his swing. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Guessed wrong, but that was 98. You see what he's doing with those fastballs, just really yanking them a little bit.
And point down there was saying Valenzuela come out.
Yeah, and I don't doubt maybe. I'm wondering if Brandon was going back to the breaking ball because that's what he's comfortable with and he wants to throw the fastball again, or vice versa. Maybe Brandon's saying 3-2. Mullins a struggling hitter. Let's just go with the fastball. But then he's saying, but you've got such a good feel for the breaking ball. And this is where, as a catcher, you know what you've seen, and he's got a good feel for the breaking ball right now, but he just wants to go out and say, hey, what do you feel best with? We can't walk this guy. This guy's struggling at the plate. Whatever it is, right to the middle. Not trying to pick corners here.
Payoff pitch. And it's grounded foul as they went to the curve.
And I'm sure Spencer was saying that's what I feel most comfortable with. Clearly this at bat, he's been better with the breaking ball.
All 3 of his curveballs have been strikes. All 3 of his fastballs have been balls.
Look at Max talking shop with
Davis is saying, I might use my slider in this spot. 3-2 pitch. Is a fastball hit high in the air to right field. And Jesus Sanchez has it. Spencer Miles comes in and gets the last 2 outs of the 5th. Still a tight game. 3-1 Rays at the Trop. There have been many iconic home runs throughout 50 seasons of this franchise, and now is your chance to have 5 of them on one t-shirt. Next Monday, the first 15,000 fans will receive a Blue Jays legendary home run t-shirt presented by Ryobi. Learn more at bluejays.com/tickets. Ian Seymour takes over for the Rays after 5 innings of 1-run ball from Nick Martinez.
14 games for Seymour. That ERA just under 6. Right-handed batters hitting over 300 against him. He's handled lefties okay.
Jesus Sanchez lines out to first on the first pitch. We talked about this a couple days ago in reference to Tommy Nance as the defense behind has changed as well. Cedric Mullins hit for Ryan Valade, so Mullins into center and DeLuca will go to right where Valade was. But for Seymour, his numbers are somewhat inflated by 1 big blow-up outing to start the year. Ernie Clement hits it foul 0-1. His first outing of the season, he didn't get an out and gave up 5 earned runs on 5 hits. It takes you a while to come back from that.
It's especially as a reliever. It takes a lot of innings, and he's been putting up a lot of zeros. This is another Rays pitcher that will use the changeup a lot. And we talked about the changeup of Nick Martinez tonight. This is a staff-wide thing. The Tampa Bay Rays pitchers as a club throw a lot of off-speed pitches, changeups and splitters. Certainly a strategy by them. There's another one diving down and away.
Clement with a line out and a ground out. The 1-2 is on the ground and through into left center field. Blue Jays knocking on the door, and in the rare times the Rays have fallen this season, it hasn't really been the starters who have given up the runs. It has come from that bullpen.
This is a very good pitching team, and they've been much better lately, but you look at those reliever numbers and it's like, get that starter out of there. So they got Nick Martinez out of there. That'll be the goal the next 2 days as well, facing Drew Rasmussen and Shane McClanahan. Seymour is first to see if the Blue Jays can't get back into this thing.
Dalton Varsho hits the first one foul. The Rays pen is missing some key potential contributors like Edwin Uceda or Mason Englert, who they expected to throw some leverage innings for them. And that bullpen is going to get going again. Kevin Kelly.
Just got Garrett Clevenger back. That'll be a plus for them. He'll pitch some leverage from the left side. He's the other lefty down there with Seymour.
Blue Jays have not put a runner in scoring position since the third when they got their one run of the game. 1-1.
And I think if this was a little later in the game, that we may have seen a pinch hitter for Jesus Sanchez. He doesn't face a lot of lefties, but it being only the 6th inning, I think John Schneider wants that bat in there next time around, despite the fact that they do have one more lefty down there.
The status of George Springer at least a little bit in question for today. As Dalton Varsho strikes out and there are 2 down, John Schneider said Springer likely available.
And it's a good breaking pitch by Seymour. Just kept going away from Varsho. He saw that similar pitch, the first pitch of the at-bat, but not that location.
Miles Straw takes a first pitch outside with Ernie Clement on first. Straw represents the tying run with 2 outs in the top of the 6th. And we are going to see our first ABS challenge of the day.
A lot of movement.
Fortes thought that change might have clipped the zone.
It's fading away. Yes, indeed.
This closer look is brought to you by Specsavers. That'll be a miss of a challenge, and only one left for the Rays. It's 2-0.
I think as a catcher too, you have to know from the left-handed pitcher, that's what a changeup is doing. It's fading away from the plate. You thought it caught the edge, but not so.
Breaking ball to get back in. The count is sweeper at the knees. The 2-1. Sprayed the fastball, and Seymour did not look happy after that one. 3-1.
That one just took off on him. Not overpowering. He's going to be 91-92 with both the sinker and the four-seamer. It's that changeup that is his main pitch.
And that's ball 4. Fortes tried to rip it down, but Miles Straw aboard, pushing Ernie Clement into scoring position. And maybe that was a pitch that in hindsight Fortes maybe could have challenged, although after missing one. Although maybe a little bit high. Andres Jimenez to hit 2 on, 2 out. First pitch strike.
We have seen Jimenez at times against lefties really stay on the ball well and just shoot something the other way. And see that shortstop playing all the way up the middle, room on the left side.
Fouls that one back to make it 0-2. A changeup there from Seymour that had him out in front.
Left on left changeup. You don't see a lot of those, but you will from Seymour. His #1 pitch against righties and lefties.
Did Jimenez hold up? He did. Says Charlie Ramos. 1-2. The 1-2 pitch. And he lined it foul on a check swing.
That was a sweeper that didn't sweep. Andres staying in there as long as he could, trying to get the bat out of the way, but a little too late.
Jimenez 5 for 30 off lefties this year. A 167 average.
Just think cover away, left on left with 2 strikes.
Grounds the ball softly, first base line. Aranda with a quick shovel. Jimenez dives, and he's out. A little hesitation by Chris Guccione before the call, and we'll see if the Blue Jays want to take a look at this one. They will not. So the top of the 6th comes to a close with the Blue Jays leaving a pair on. Jimenez just retired by the pitcher Seymour.
Is right tonight.
After a massive Game 7 win over Tampa last night, the Habs have a couple of days to rest and recover before heading to Buffalo. Canadians and Sabres Game 1, Wednesday at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific on Sportsnet. We told you it's brighter in here, by the way. It really is. John Schneider had said that he almost put sunglasses on before he walked out to the field.
I think he's thinking about his Habs. The future is bright. On to the next round.
Yandy Diaz will lead it off against Spencer Miles and take it high, ball one. Miles came in and got 2 outs to end the 5th. Mason Fluharty, though, beginning to work, and notable that the next batter up is left-handed hitting Jonathan Aranda. Diaz on the ground is short. Andres Jimenez with time retires Yandy Diaz. It's another good curveball from Miles. Looked like it went off the end of Diaz's bat.
Such a weapon when you can throw a pitch like that behind in the count, and that's what you have to be able to do at the big league level against a very good hitter. Gets him to expand a little bit, gets weak contact.
Miles to Aranda, and the pitch is hit up the middle into right center field. Second hit of the game for Aranda. Let's go down to the field to Hazelman.
Ben, Spencer Miles says the mindset since making his big league debut is understanding he can go out there and throw first pitch strikes, repeat it, and then know he has the ability to get big leaguers out. That's really helped him in the confidence department. Also, he says, I have to stay on the offensive, keep attacking guys until they can prove they can hit it. I'm going to keep mixing in my fastball, guys.
He's got a really, really good fastball. Can throw it with sink in the high 90s, and his first pitch to DeLuca. This is up and away.
To have both fastballs, the four-seamer and the sinker, and more than anything, it's going to be about command and being in the zone, and especially now when you get to the bottom half of this order. Be aggressive in the zone. That's what you have in your control. See, he's gotten behind some hitters here tonight, and that's frustrating because I know that he knows, and talking to him, he's got confidence in his stuff, and he should.
Sits around 96 on the sinker and four-seamer, slider and curveball as well. Back to the breaking ball. The curveball has clearly been the get-me-over pitch for him.
It is such a weapon when you can do that behind in the count. Now, if he can get that fastball locked in a little bit more in the zone, now you get the total package. And that can happen on certain nights. One pitch might be better than another, might have a better feel.
Didn't get it in the zone there, but DeLuca helped him out chasing, and it's 2-2.
And the fact that it's over the plate, though, you've got a shot at a swing. When you yank it wide and it's in the left-handed batter spots, you have no chance. But at least when you're playing the north-south game, you got a shot. And with his stuff, he's going to miss a lot of bats.
2-2. Called strike 3. 97 miles an hour with his sinker. 2 outs.
DeLuca knew that he had chased on the previous pitch, so now he sees something going up there again. He lets it go, but it held the plane, just maybe catching the top of the zone. Nice job by Valenzuela.
Ben Williamson with 2 outs takes another curveball. For his strikes, Spencer Miles has been pinpoint with that curveball in this outing.
Tough too. Again, we talk so much about strategy in the ABS, but if you're DeLuca, you've got one challenge left. You don't want to be wrong right there.
Check swing, and I think Valenzuela was pointing almost, I thought, like it might have hit the bat, but they say no swing.
I think he and Vladdy were both asking for an appeal. Oh, he did, yeah. Pointed at the bat, didn't he?
But maybe he was just saying he swung. Either way, they get back in the zone with that pitch, and it's 1-2. Miles looks to put away this 6th inning. One-two pitch. Williamson somehow gets to that fastball high and outside. It's become a real valuable part of the Blue Jay bullpen. Multiple innings, strikeout ability, and can pitch some medium to even more than that leverage for you.
Give you a couple of innings when you're behind like this, keep it a ball game.
On the ground just past the mound. This is going to be a tough play for Okamoto, and he's just late with the throw. Infield hit for Williamson, who smacked that one right down into the dirt circle.
Not much you can do about that one. Miles did everything he could to get to it, but he leaves it for Okamoto, and Kazuma does everything he can, but Williamson and his speed just beats it out. But I say he can get some important outs. Miles can. When you're behind like this a couple runs, you get out of this. The more you keep doing that, you start pitching yourself into more and more leverage, and then all of a sudden maybe you're called upon later in the season when you're up a run or two. That's how bullpens can fluctuate throughout the course of a season.
Big matchup here. 2 on, 2 out. The pitch to Nick Fortes. Again, right back to the curve to start him out with a strike.
He has felt very good with that pitch, and I think when you look at Fortes as a hitter, much better against fastballs than breaking stuff. Might just stay with it.
0-1. Fastball, and Valenzuela fakes a throw to first on that pitch that missed outside.
I don't know if Vladdy was a little late breaking, but the fact that Valenzuela came up out of there, they must have had a pickoff on of sorts. The thing as a catcher, though, if you get up to throw and your first baseman's not there, you don't have to eat it. You just eat it. This looked like a cross-up. Valenzuela looked like he was ducking out of the way of this pitch. Watch the reaction of the catcher. He was waiting for a breaking ball. And I'm not sure how that happens with PitchCom, whether it's just the noise in the building, but he was waiting for that ball to break.
Blue Jays catch a break, really, that was hit foul.
Yeah, he's looking around right now. It could be the noise in the building, and maybe he pressed curveball and Miles thought he heard fastball.
1-2 is hit sharply and deflected down by Clement. It will be a base hit, but that might have saved a run for the Blue Jays as Aranda has to stop at third. The bases are loaded now on an infield single, but you don't know if that gets through, if it's going to be more than that.
Well, they went back to the fastball, and he almost slid it through the right side. And Clement does a great job getting leather on this ball, just keeping it in the infield, and that's the golden rule as an infielder. Keep that runner from scoring.
Second infield hit of the inning for the Rays. And that's going to do it for Spencer Miles. Throws an inning and a third, leaves with the bases loaded and 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th. Blue Jays trying to keep it at a 3-1 game. Mason Fluharty on when we return.
Join today for free.
There's a 43% chance the top pick in this year's NHL draft is going to a Canadian team. Tune in tomorrow to see how the lottery balls shake out. The NHL Draft Lottery tomorrow night only on Sportsnet. Bases are loaded with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th, and the first pitch to Taylor Walls is grounded foul. 0-1.
Not sure this is as much of turning Taylor Walls around as it is bringing Fluharty in the game, but no room for error here with the bases loaded.
Walls, a switch hitter, was 0 for 2 from the left side. Batting in the 180s on the year. And he lifts the ball out to left center, and that's going to drop in for a base hit. Aranda scores. Williamson right behind him. A 2-run single for Taylor Walls to make it 5-1 Tampa Bay.
It was a cutter from Fluharty. It looked like it got in on his hands, but not quite enough.
Walls his 5th and 6th RBIs of the season. And the Rays, who put it in play a lot, extended this inning with a couple of infield hits, and they end up cashing in. Chandler Simpson takes a strike now, and it's 0-1 with Fortes on second and Walls on first.
Fluharty has really dominated left-handed batters, but has had his struggles against righties, and those struggles continue. despite some pretty tough luck he's had this year as well.
Pretty wicked sweeper right there, and he gets ahead 0-2. Despite the fact the Rays have won 9 of 10, this is their most runs scored since April 25th. Pardon me, tied for it. They also had 5 on May 2nd.
This is really unfortunate for Spencer Miles because, again, against Fortes, I thought for sure he was going to come back to the breaking ball. I thought the only way he was going to get beat was with a fastball. And it's not that it was crushed, but it was a base hit enough that the play's not made and he's out of the ball game.
Fluharty sets down Simpson, but the Rays score for the first time since the first. They pack on a pair to make it 5-1 Tampa Bay.
Sportsnet.
Are you a Rogers customer? Watch for Canada's winning inning during the game. When the Blue Jays get a hit, you could win amazing prizes courtesy of Rogers Beyond the Sea. Blue Jays at Tropicana Field for the first time since 2024, and the Rays leading them 5-1. Good to talk with Addison Barger today, who John Schneider said worst case scenario will be active, they think, on Friday.
He's good to go.
Oh, he wants to play tomorrow.
I saw him at his locker and I said, so how are we doing? He's like, I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go. Now, of course, they want to make sure that you don't want to be doing things a little bit too early. We've got a little gathering at the mound here.
Fortes went up to talk to the home plate umpire, Dave Rackley. I think this is a pitch clock warm-up related issue. And that's a quick discussion. But Barger really chomping at the bit right now.
Now, on Wednesday, here it's McClanahan starting for the Rays, so maybe he just travels with the team back to Toronto and he's active Friday. That would be good news, too.
But they did open the door to even activating him Wednesday.
Yep. Have that bat available. I think against this pitching staff and against this team, you want every possible resource available, and one offensive resource is Addison Barger's bat.
Tommy Nance in the Blue Jay bullpen down the left field line. And a good changeup there had Valenzuela leaning forward, 1-2. Valenzuela hit a home run in that 8-run eighth for the Blue Jays on May 2nd as a right-handed hitter. Series before that against the Red Sox, he homered off reliever Garrett Whitlock as a left-handed hitter.
That's impressive.
Speaking to him about the Whitlock homer, he said he faced him in spring, and there were just a couple of ways that his pitches moved and looked that he brought into that at bat, and was able to translate that over to a regular season game.
Keeps coming back with the changeups, and David Popkins on your left, Lou Ayanadi on your right. And these guys are constantly watching, trying to adjust, trying to adapt, trying to get this offense going. And it's not a blanketed philosophy, I don't think, as much as each individual has their things that they're working on and trying to maximize what they can get out of each swing. And it took well into the season, over a month into the season last year before this offense got rolling, but they're hoping sooner rather than later.
Swing and a miss by Valenzuela. He goes down, and there's one out. You imagine their jobs get a little bit easier if, let's say, Friday night you got George Springer at the top of your order and Addison Barger hitting somewhere in the top 5 of your order.
That's starting to look a little bit more familiar, right?
John Schneider also said today that Alejandro Kirk is going to begin swinging this week for the first time. Yohendrick Piñango taking his strike. Backed out of the way for a moment of that sweeper. For Kirk, hitting comes first, then he would try catching more after breaking his thumb. Pinango down the right field line. Fair ball. Yohendrick Pinango tearing around first base. He'll cruise into second, and that's his first extra base hit in the big leagues. A 1-out double.
Well, there's that left-on-left changeup. We talked about Seymour throwing so many changeups, and this one's in almost off the plate, I think. But he is able to get the barrel there because of the speed, and he's able to keep it fair. A lot of left-handed batters would hook that ball foul right on the line.
Pinango knocks Seymour out of the game. And the Blue Jays have a runner in scoring position with 1 out, down 5-1 at the Trop.
Start your free trial today.
Yohendrick Pinango with his first major league double. He's in scoring position as the Blue Jays try and whittle down this deficit, trailing 5-1 to the Rays at Tropicana Field. Side armor Kevin Kelly in to face Kazuma Okamoto.
Sinker, sweeper, changeup for the most part from Kelly. Two righties, a sinker around 91, 92, and he, like Seymour, Ben, had one real bad outing that's really impacted his numbers. Otherwise, been pretty good. A little bit of a different look for Okamoto. You don't see a whole lot from down here. Pretty well straight sidearm from Kelly.
His 1-1 pitch is outside with the breaking ball. Kelly, a 19th rounder by the Guardians. Ended up being a Rule 5 pickup for the Rays and is stuck.
Good swing right there.
What do you like about it?
He was right on it. I thought the balance was good, and again, what he's doing so well over these last couple of weeks when we've seen him heating up is that it looks like he's giving himself more time and starting early enough. And the last time I said that, he did the same thing. Pretty good pitch that time from Kelly.
Change up to get him out front. 2 down.
You can see just out front. There's that changeup, though. This Rays pitching staff, a lot of them.
It's not necessarily a bunch of guys throwing 98 like you might have seen from the Rays 2 years ago. There are guys throwing 98, but there's a couple more tricky, funkier guys in this pen right now. 1-0 to Guerrero, and he grounds it back to the mound. And that will do it for the top of the 7th. At the 7th inning stretch in St. Petersburg, Tampa Bay leading 5-1.
Where will you be?
Celebrate a Blue Jays legend with the Roy Halladay replica jersey giveaway. On Monday, June 8th, the first 15,000 fans will receive a retro jersey honoring one of the greatest pitchers in franchise history. Buy tickets now at bluejays.com/promotions. Strong pitching today from the Tampa Bay Rays, who have limited the Blue Jays offense to only 1 run. Bottom of the 7th inning, Tommy Nance out of the Blue Jay bullpen to face the middle of the Rays order.
Tommy pitched twice in the Twins series, and he's got that ERA down to just over 4.5. It takes time. He had that one tough one against the Dodgers back in early April. A lot of breaking balls from Nance, with the curveball and the slider.
Pair of sliders to begin this battle with Junior Caminero. Nance also has the sinker that'll run up into the mid-90s.
That's the reaction you get from a hitter after seeing 2 breaking balls. Slider, slider, fastball. Now you speed him up with that, and I would think Tommy goes back to the slider down and away.
His 1-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. And Caminero not happy about that. 1 out.
Well, it's an excellent pitch by Nance. Great spin on the ball. Great location. That's where you want to be with a 1-2 count. He was just totally fooled and frustrated.
Although the raw numbers might not be as strong so far this year for Nance as they were last year, there's some evidence to believe he's actually been more effective. He's getting more swing and miss, more chase, less hard contact than he did last year. He misses with his first pitch to Cedric Mullins. The only thing that's come back a little bit is the walks are a little bit up for Tommy Nance. Cole Sulser right now in the Rays bullpen. Middle of the Blue Jay order coming up in the 8th. Nance's 2-1 to Cedric Mullins. Did he go? He did on that curveball. 2-2.
Tommy will get a lot of those in-between swings because of the spin. He has both the curveball and the slider. Went it a little too far.
Batters are 1 for 24 against the curveball this year with 13 strikeouts. 2-2. Trying to get another chase there, but this time Mullins holds up on a curve. Three-two pitch is another curve, grounded foul. For Nance, the curveball has been so effective. The other 2 pitches have allowed batting averages around 300. And this is a line drive down in right field. After a couple of curves, he went to the slider, and Mullins is on.
Get game-changing internet and Canada's most reliable internet. Rogers Xfinity. We got you.
Cedric Mullins is on, and now longtime Tampa Bay Ray Yandy Diaz up.
This might be an opportunity for Mullins at first base. He might try to rip one here. Up 4, but they're looking to add on still.
And he's off on the first pitch. It's taken for a strike. And they got him. What a seed from Brandon Valenzuela. And there are 2 down after Valenzuela's great throw.
You do your scouting reports. You realize Tommy Nance is pretty slow to the plate. You've got time to get a bag, but they forgot about the guy behind the plate. Brandon Valenzuela with excellent footwork, and look where the location of the throw is. Right on the money to Ernie, and he had some power behind that throw. What an arm.
Now a line drive caught at first, and that's the bottom of the 7th inning. Brandon Valenzuela tosses out Mullins to help Nance face the minimum. 5-1 race. Time now for an update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Kevin Pillar.
All right, Ben, Home Hardware is proud to be the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. The Blue Jays were in this position a lot early on in the season. That is an inability to drive home runners when there are people in scoring position.
Yeah, sometimes it's unexplainable. I mean, tonight they're 1 for 7 in scoring position, but if you take a look at some of these videos, it just feels like they're starting to feel the pressure. We're talking about a team last year that was first in batting average with runners in scoring position at 292 and second in OPS at 810. This year they're 29th at 623 OPS. You start to feel like there's a lot of pressure to drive in runs. You're doing a really good job of getting guys in scoring position. Their ability to not drive them in, you could feel it's kind of a whole team pressure sort of thing right now. You know, last inning they had Okamoto and Vladdy, the 2 guys you want up with runners in scoring position. They both just didn't get it done.
Right now on Sportsnet, it is game 2 between the Hurricanes and the Flyers, and Carolina is on a power play, as you can see, down by a goal. We're back to Tropicana Field right after this.
Get ready to celebrate two icons of franchise history. On Friday, May 22nd, the first 15,000 fans will receive a Bautista and Encarnacion home run flex bobblehead. Get tickets now at bluejays.com/promotions. New pitcher for the Rays, Cole Sulser takes over. Rays up 5-1, top of the 8th.
36-year-old right-hander, and here's another guy. Four-seam fastball changeup combination for the most part. Mixes in a cutter as well, but from the lefty, Sanchez is going to see those two pitches. A little different arm angle now too than what we saw from Kelly. Many different looks.
And fastballs low to mid 90s. It's another guy more funky than overpowering. That pitch is called to strike. There have been low strikes all night. Now the Blue Jays will take action here as Sanchez asks for a review on a pitch that looked way down. And it was. So Jesus Sanchez overturns it. Blue Jays still have two challenges, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Sanchez in the air. Left side of the infield. And Taylor Walls makes the catch. Caminero taking a page out of Vladdy, and I guess really Adrian Beltre's book, pretending to catch that ball over there. Walls just kicked him out. You're not allowed to cross that line anymore.
Stay on your side.
22-year-old Caminero back in position, and Clement will take low ball 1. Pretty crazy. A couple years back, Caminero debuted against the Blue Jays. He was 19.
Turned into quite the player.
Up and into Clement. Had to get out of the way of a 4-seam fastball. It's 2-0. Two-0 pitch. On the ground to third, there is Caminero. And he will whip it across to first. 2 down. Put a little extra behind that one from the hot corner.
Looked like you wanted to show off his arm there from third base.
It's his first throw since the first inning, so he was looking to stretch it out. Blue Jays having some trouble generating offense here against this Rays bullpen. 2 down, and the pitch to Varsho is off the end of the bat, foul.
And we can say that's a combination of the hitters scuffling a little bit, and as we said, this bullpen has been outstanding the last 10 games. On the season, the numbers aren't all that inspiring, but when you look what they've done lately, this team has pitched and pitched some more.
All changeups today. That changeup gets a swing and a miss, and now the Blue Jays getting both Rogers and Mantiply. Varsho strikes out swinging. A 1-2-3 inning for Cole Sulser. 5-1 Rays, middle of the 8th inning at the Trop.
Congratulations to Louis Varland, who was named the American League's reliever of the month. He told me he found out the way most people do these days through a social media post this morning. Varland believed he could be successful pitching at this level, but then admitted that was probably more him being optimistic. It really is all the hard work paying off. He said, yes, it is only 1 month. Hopefully I can do it again next month, or just try to build on it. I was talking to Varland Ben by his locker when manager John Schneider walked over to him, shook his hand, and said, I'm proud of you. And who wouldn't be proud of these numbers? Louis Varland is your AL reliever of the month. Guys?
Just a fantastic start to the season for Louis Varland, and a guy who entered that month, Joe, without having ever saved a game at the big league level. He saves 4 of them. And even when he's not saving games, just absolutely dominant.
Well, and he was a former starter, and then he went to the bullpen with the Twins, but I think he's really continuing to evolve and develop as a Blue Jay now. In the past, he was more of a 4-seam fastball slider guy. And the curveball was somewhat new a couple of years ago, but more importantly now he's throwing it a lot harder. He's also made a couple of toys a little bit better. The changeup, he always had a changeup, he said, but they've got him changing the grip, just moving the ball slightly in his hand, and he's throwing it a lot harder. So it's been a fantastic weapon against lefties.
Flared single down the left field line for Jonathan Aranda, who snapped his bat. Aranda is now 3 for 4, and that's a bit of tough luck if you're Joe Mantiply, who blew up that bat but didn't get rewarded.
Sometimes you make a good pitch and the ball has eyes, and that's exactly what that did off the bat of Aranda.
Aranda, despite leading the American League with 28 RBIs coming into this game, was having a bit of tough luck in terms of hitting for average. He might have been due a couple of hits, and he has come up with 3. Pitch down to Johnny DeLuca at the knees for a strike. That one might have got the foot of Valenzuela. He's saying he's all right, so he'll take the ball from Dave Rackley. It's 0-2. Joe Mantiply has been on a nice run for the Blue Jays. He last allowed a run of his own on April 17th. Six appearances in a row without allowing a run. A couple of them he's gone more than an inning.
Sinker changeup against righties, sinker curveball to lefties. So the curveball is what Aranda hit. Unfortunately, dunking that into left field.
1-2. Went to the changeup and misses down and in. Kevin Cash getting ready for the 9th inning, and recently acquired Casey Legumina is warming up. Brought in late April, Legumina. Curveball, foul. Did throw one of those curves there to a right-handed hitter, and it got in enough that DeLuca couldn't keep it fair.
A little bit of a different look. He doesn't throw that pitch a whole lot to righties. Got that sidearm angle as well. Pitching from the first base side of the pitching rubber.
Went back to the changeup. It's been a lot of changeups. 4 out of his 6 pitches to DeLuca. Ray's got to be excited about a mini breakout from Johnny DeLuca, part of the trade when they sent Tyler Glasnow to the Dodgers. They got DeLuca back alongside Ryan Pepio, pitcher who's been ruled out for the rest of the season. DeLuca, on the other hand, had missed a lot of last year due to injuries, right shoulder and then left hamstring strains. Twice he was on the 60-day injured list, so he didn't get to really play much last season, but sitting in the mid 200s, high 200s now for the Rays. 2-2 pitch on the ground is short. This could be 2. Jimenez to Clement to Guerrero for a 6-4-3 double play. 2 down with the bases empty. That was tailor-made to get the speedy DeLuca.
Like Andre says, he fed it to Ernie at second base. He was following his throw from the knees, almost fell forward. Kind of tailor-made is right. Joe Mantiply will take it after that bloop single.
Miss inside by Mantiply to Ben Williamson. Brought over from the Mariners in that big 3-team trade that sent Brendan Donovan from St. Louis to Seattle. The 2-0. Right there with a sinker.
Always nice as a reliever when you can come out of the pen and get ground balls, especially if you're coming in with runners on. One pitch and 2 outs is a wonderful thing.
And Mantiply is in the zone pretty often too, so he's given himself lots of chances with the sinker, the changeup, the dive down. Off the bat, foul to the right side there, 2-2. If you weren't with us earlier, Jimmy Garcia, pictured in the middle there, is set to make his first rehab appearance in the Florida Complex League on Friday. And it feels like last couple of weeks the back end of the bullpen has really gotten into a stride. Louis Varland, obviously reliever of the month. You add a potential of a Jimmy Garcia to that, and that could be huge. Ground ball up the middle. Nice stab by Jimenez. Spin and throw on target to end the bottom of the 8th inning. Couple of ground balls help Joe Mantiply face the minimum. The Blue Jays need 4 to tie when we come back. Kevin Gausman on the mound tomorrow for the Jays in Game 2 of this series. He will take on Drew Rasmussen in quite the pitching matchup. Coverage begins at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific on Sportsnet 1. Great pitching for the Rays, so the Blue Jays will have to counter with their top of the rotation guy. And they'll need a big start out of Kevin Gausman because Rasmussen is really, really good as well.
He is a tough customer. Casey Legumina on now 10 games in total. 8 with Seattle, 2 now with the Rays. Just a couple of scoreless innings for Tampa.
Delivers a first pitch strike to Miles Straw right on the outside corner with his sinker. And Straw hits one off the fist. This could be trouble in shallow left, and it's a base hit for Miles Straw. On for the second time in the game. It all starts with base runners.
Another low arm angle. You see this fastball in off the plate. Miles pulls the hands in, gets jammed a bit, but just enough to drop in there in shallow left. Low arm angle for Legumina, and he gets good extension, so that combination can really get that fastball. Gets on you in a hurry.
4th season for the righty. Gets a foul off from Jimenez. It's 1-1. And it looks like George Springer will hit after Andres Jimenez. One. Check swing, and he did not go. Some big hits for Andres Jimenez this year, who's still second on the team with 16 runs batted in. Swing and a miss as he took a hack at a fastball up, and he looked a little frustrated after that one.
Yeah, and there's that fastball I'm referring to, the arm angle with the extension, only 92, 93 miles per hour generally, that four-seamer, but that one climbed up in a hurry.
DFA'd by Seattle in late April, traded to the Rays 3 days later. His 2-2 is on the ground to second. Williamson over to Walls for 1 and on to first. A 4-6-3 double play. Wipes away the leadoff hit by Straw, and the Blue Jays down to their last hope.
That's what a pitcher like this can do to you right there, is now he makes sure he gets on top of that fastball, and what do? You come right over top of it and hit it right into the ground to the second baseman.
The Blue Jays were going to hit George Springer, but now that it's not a situation with a runner on base, they will stick with Brandon Valenzuela, who climbed back out of the dugout. Maybe you push Springer a little later into the inning if you need it. Rays pitching has been dominant in this game.
And we're going to talk about that this whole series, Ben. We talked about it leading into this game, and it's because it's fact. That's what they do, and that's what they've been doing very well. But it's on the Blue Jays side where they're going to have to try to come up with game plans each day, find a way somehow to beat who they're facing on the mound. It begins with their starter. This lineup up and down is going to have to find a way, whether it's moving a runner over, whether it's sitting on a certain pitch, whatever the case may be. It's the only way to beat good pitching. The best way to beat it is to maybe get a good pitch and run into one, hit it in the seats.
And with all due respect to Nick Martinez, who was good tonight and has been fantastic all year, the stuff is only going to get tougher as the series goes on with Rasmussen and McClanahan. 1-2 to Valenzuela. And he hits it high in the air, third base side, foul, and out of play. It's 5 hits in the first 4 innings for the Blue Jays. They've only put a couple runners in scoring position since. Now Valenzuela with a line drive down in right field, and the Blue Jays are not done yet. Brandon Valenzuela aboard for the first time tonight.
Well, there's that little short stroke you were talking about earlier tonight. Valenzuela trying to reduce his movement in the batter's box. See that little front leg just tucks in and allows the barrel to get to that. And it's not just with 2 strikes he's doing that. That's from the beginning of the at-bat.
They might have more hits on changeups out of the zone than they do on pitches in the zone tonight. 2 down, Piñango takes a strike. He hit a double down the right field line on a changeup in off the plate. Left on left with Ian Seymour in the 7th. Fastball missed downstairs despite the frame job there from Fortes. They won't hold on Valenzuela. And the 1-1. He did go, says home plate umpire Dave Rackley, 1-2. Blue Jays have done enough to at least get Brian Baker, the Rays closer, throwing. Legamina's 1-2. Off on the pitch was Valenzuela, and the pitch hit foul to the left. In a way, somewhat of a moral win, at least, that you do enough in the 9th inning to get the closer who pitched yesterday to toss today, even if he's not really hard tossing.
Yeah, the leadoff single by Straw. You hope to get a little something going just to get their closer in the game.
Line drive, Piñango down for a base hit. Valenzuela around second, and no one's covering third, so he'll go right there. He was off on the pitch, and the Blue Jays have 2 on here, and things are starting to get a little bit more interesting at Tropicana Field.
And that will get Baker throwing much more firmly down in that Rays pen. Just another good at-bat by Piñango, his 3rd hit of the night. Ball gets deep on him, but he stays. He's got a very flat swing. And that flat path to the ball, it got deep in on him, but it allows him to shoot it the other way. Trying not to get fooled on that changeup.
He's only had 18 major league at-bats, but he has hits in 9 of them, and a walk as well. It's his second 3-hit game.
If you're trying not to get fooled on the changeup, you're letting the ball travel. The fastball is going to get deep, but that's okay. You're battling with 2 strikes. It's just a really good approach from a young hitter.
And after a long wait there, Kevin Cash is going to make a pitching change. The Blue Jays have done enough against Legamina to bring Brian Baker, the former Blue Jay and Oriole, into the game. Tying run on deck for the Blue Jays. Cosmo Okamoto to hit against Baker next.
Doing it big, yeah, we doing it whoa.
You're watching Rogers Blue Jays baseball on Sportsnet. Brian Baker about to face Cosmo Okamoto, and David Popkins delivering to Gosuke Kato there a little message to make sure that Okamoto has it. It'll be the first time he faces Baker. Hard throwing right-hander who in a closer by committee setup for the Rays has really seized the role. He comes in now in a save situation with the tying run on deck. First and third, 2 down. And Okamoto 4 home runs, 7 RBIs last series. Takes a first pitch change, strike 1.
We're seeing fastball averaging close to 97, and that changeup. Really, those 2 pitches, he'll mix in a slider, but I think you have to focus on those 2. Okamoto might be sitting on a heater.
Baker's 0-1. And as much as home run number 5 of the week would be great for the Blue Jays, they just need Okamoto to reach. Then you bring the tying run to the plate.
His changeup will fade down and into righties, and we've seen him handle that location.
Hit high in the air, shallow right, coming into Luka, going back Williamson to Luka, stops and makes the catch to end the game. The Blue Jays threaten late, but Rays pitching dominates. Tampa Bay wins its 10th in the last 11 games and wins the series opener 5-1.
A tough go for this Blue Jays offense. Just could not get much going. Eric Lauer did what he could to keep his team in the ball game, but the offense is going to have to figure things out over the next couple of days against this Rays pitching. Tough one drop in the opener when you've got Rasmussen and McClanahan the next 2 days to deal with.
Blue Jays fall 5-1. Really appreciate you tuning in tonight. For Hazel May, Joe Siddle, myself, and our fantastic crew, hope you have a great rest of your evening. Time now for Sportsnet Central, presented by KFC with Ken and Ivanka.